Hello?
Yes, जी.
Hello? Hi. Yani Madad?
Mulali Madad.
This is Shabnam Kimani.
Yali Madad.
I have one question to ask. Like, for the animals, all kind of animals, like, if I see any Muslim people, they say we should not have an animal in our house because animals is always coronation and we don't know what sort they are, so we should not have animals in our house. Is that true?
Now I can answer this question. I can answer this question. Okay. So, no, that is not true. That is not true. So, remember in our small towns, we would have horses, we would have camels, we would have donkeys, we would have dogs to protect us, and even the imam, he has horses and dogs in his farms. So that is not correct, that is not true, that we should not have dogs. There are other reasons, but not what they are telling you. There are other reasons. But what you just made a comment, that is not true. If you have a dog as a pet or as a protector, or what about those emotional animal and the seeing dogs,
The cat and everything.
right?
The cat is very bad to have.
Right. So there's a personal belief, but don't think because they have bad soul or something like that, we should not have. That is not correct thinking.
Okay.
So you need to be careful when we are listening to others, because remember in their tariqa, they would just say things without whatever. But
Yeah.
no, that is not true. You could have a dog if the dog is serving a purpose, not without the purpose. We do not,
Or
as
not,
an
not,
intellect,
not, or
as a
not without the
human.
purpose. We can't have it the cat or because I had a bird, cat, everything in my house. So we can't have it that one in the
I
house.
mean, like I said, you can do whatever you like. I have
Uh-huh.
nothing against animal, but
Uh-huh.
you should ask yourself, what is the purpose? What is the purpose of that?
I just want to enjoy. I like it.
Yeah,
Just
there you
I
go.
love
So
animals.
you have a purpose right there.
I love animals. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Okay. So it's not nothing harm to it. Okay. Thank you very much. I'm really enjoying your talk all this time. I'm really enjoying it.
Thank
Very
you,
nice.
thank you, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Can I ask a question?
Ji.
Yes, Zina, go ahead. Okay. Uh, this is for the explanation for the Ginan. Ji Alaf Nirale Khalak Raja. And what I hear here is prior to the creation of Adam, good. Okay. Okay, what it says is due to the insolence to Hazrat Imam Hussein, Yazid, son of Muawiyah, had to take the body of a dog and is now suffering in trouble. Yazid defined Imam Hussein, and during the Battle of Karbala stopped Imam from getting water from the nearby river to quench his thirst. As a punishment of this sin, the soul of Yazid has entered into the body of a dog who strays on the rocks of the mountains, which, though surrounded by ditches of water, the steepy high rocks make it impossible for it to get the water. Thus, water being constantly before its eyes, yet Yazid in the body of a dog will always be suffering from want of it till the day of judgment, till Qiyamah. How do you explain this?
Very easy.
So,
Very
yeah.
easy. This is the easiest question I think I heard today. All right.
Okay.
Remember in the Farman, in the Ginans, in the Quran, everything is allegorically. Everything is allegorically. If you take anything physically, then there is a problem with our understanding of the true knowledge. So this was the easiest question you could have asked me. the soul of the Yazid, or soul of the Abdul Rahman Muljim, or soul of those 20 other humans, Muslims, who have killed our Imam? And what about all those people who have killed Hazrat Isa? And what about all of those other souls who tried to kill all of our prophets and Imams in the past? Because they do not recognize the Imam, the example of them is like a dog. Dog has two attribution. Dog could be a good friend, but dog also bark without any reason. So those who argue against Imam and Imamat are in the example of a dog. They are barking without any reason. G. Thank you for asking me easy question. You scared me for a second.
But okay, thanks for your answer.
You're welcome.
Okay. I disagree with you.
No problem. I'm okay with that.
Okay. After a person dies, his soul, I think it depends on how he's lived his life. So if he hasn't lived well, he will suffer at the time when he's dying. There will be some kind of pain, anxiety, whatever. It won't be peaceful. Okay? And secondly, when he's trying to get elevated to the next level, it depends on what the souls are. A very, very good soul, absolutely perfect, will go straight to Mola, be one with Allah. But a lot of us, like us, who are faithful, will go very, 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 very slowly up. And our prayers here is many times more than the prayer of the departed soul. So it will take them a very long time to get up there. But I also think that reincarnation, somehow I believe in it too. So if you did really bad deeds like the Hindus believe, then you get a next life and next life. Depending on what, your karma, what you did your karma in this life will dictate, how you will come back in the second life.
So I want to just make a comment because there is no question here. If you believe, you believe in what you believe, right? I have no problem with that. Only thing I can do is give you the knowledge, which is the true knowledge. And if you have time, and if you truly wanted to understand the Ismaili Tariqah and the school of thought of the Ismaili Tariqah, then I will recommend that you listen to those 3 lectures on reincarnation and then rethink of your stage and see, do you still want to continue believing that, which is perfectly fine with me. I have no problem with your belief. Okay? Now, second comment I would like to make is that I understand some of our alwais in the past have talked about that those souls that we see around us, they are in very much pain at the time of dying. And they have taught us, I'm so sorry to say, that they were sinful and that's why they were in pain when they were dying. And I think you just made a comment on that. And those souls who are good, they will die like this and they will be one with the Imam. I do not agree with that, and I'm 100% certain that that is not right. And I'll give you example, okay? I'll give you an example. So, and I had a discussion with some of the wazin, and I have tried to tell them with the proof, and I'm going to give you the proof, okay? Right now on this line for everybody to listen. And I'm recording this so no one can say that I'm going to change my mind later on. I'm recording this. And you can have this recording and you can come back and say you said it. Okay. Those people who are sick and who die because of whatever sickness, please do not judge them that they were sinful, that's why they had a painful death. And the proof I have. Our beloved, may my soul be sacrificed to Imam Aka Sultan Muhammad Shah. He was born sick. He had eye problem.
Right.
He had so many sickness that when he was 3 or 4 year old, this is before he took the imamat, okay? 3 or 4 year old, doctor told Mata Salamat at that time, Imam's mother, that this child will live more than 2 years. And Imam Aka Sultan Muhammad Shah had the longest imamat in our history. 72 years of imamat. Okay? Now, during his lifetime, he was always sick. Always sick. Always sick. And at the end, after 1954, he was so much sick that sometime he would send his son Ali, sometime he will send his grandson Kareem and Amin to go to the Jamaat, take the Farman, take the Ismi Azam, do the Jamaat Khana work, take the Bayat, and all of those religion ceremonies. That's how much sick was. May Mola forgive me for saying this. I'm so sorry. Are you saying Sultan Muhammad Shah was sinful? That's why he was sick entire life and he died sick? No. That is incorrect, illogical, ill concept. Please do not judge anyone. Now I'm going to come back to the other side. And I have an article that someone wrote when my mom passed away. And it came from IIS. It's in Urdu, but I'll tell you the content of that because it was for my mother. He wrote in that article that a mu'min, a follower of Imam, or a good human who dies in sickness and suffer and do not complain and are sabir and shakir, patient and thankful, they will not have to answer to any of his sin, and they will have a mercy of the Imam because they suffered so much in this physical life that they were forgiven all their sin. If you want a Quranic ayat, Surah 2, ayat number 155. Read that.
Okay.
And it will tell you, those who suffer the test, but two conditions: do not complain and be thankful to Allah, they will receive the Ajr Azim, the great reward, being one with the Imam. I'm sorry, I got so emotional because my Imam, he suffered his entire life. His entire life he suffered.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. How do they explain? How do they explain if it was from karma?
No reincarnation, no karma. No reincarnation, no karma. Again, my sister, my mother, I don't know how old you are. Listen, one more. If sickness is due to karma, Khuda Mola mere ko maaf kare, Was Sultan Muhammad Shah in his previous life sinful? That's why he was sick his entire life. He was a sinful soul, and that's why he suffered his entire life. That's what you are saying? No, my sister, my mother, please don't say that. No, no.
Okay.
Are you finished with your question?
I'm so sorry. I thought there's different standards for high level imams, and I know some of my family have psychiatric disorders, so they were born with that. So I don't know what could be the reason.
Because remember, they are going through whatever pain and suffering Imam had given them, and if they do not complain, if they are thankful to Imam, Imam will forgive their all sin, no question asked, and they will be one with the Imam as soon they die. So unfortunately, because of the lack of knowledge, ill concept, some of our Buzrug alwais had given us a wrong, ill concept, and that is not right. We are more educated, more literate, more intelligent today with the understanding of the Imam's Farman. We need to come into our tariqah, we need to understand our tariqah, and we need to become a true Ismaili. We are not Hindus. We are not Hindus. We are not Hindus.
Right. Okay. I'm so sorry that you had tears. I ask you to forgive me. Please. Yani Madad.
Yani Madad. Yani Madad.
Okay. Was there any other question? I think Kayal has his hand raised. Kayal, you have your hand raised?
Sir,
Yani Madad.
I have a question which it might be a little bit too long for this sitting, so maybe perhaps another time if you feel necessary. But we mentioned earlier a couple of times that our task or our assignment, our mission is to attain oneness with the Imam. And we also know we pray for Asma Wasal to join and merge with the light of Imam. My question is, besides the obvious, what is the incentive to become one with the Imam, meaning especially after death? During this lifetime, we can understand, yes, there's a great incentive. We can live our life with one with the Imam. But after one passes away and we pray for our soul to become Asma Wasal, the question will be, what then happens? What is the next? What can be next for such a soul? Are they just one with the Imam and then their story finishes? In the physical example, we all want to have rest and take a vacation, but we all know sometimes we say, oh, I'm going to sleep all day to enjoy, but then we sleep for a few hours, and then obviously we're going to get tired of that. We want to get up and do some action, some activity. So for a soul that becomes one with the Imam, what does that really mean? What is the incentive? What is the purpose of that soul going forward? And what does it mean really for Imam to say, for the Ruhani souls to rest in eternal peace? What kind of rest is this? Because again, if you take a physical example, it sounds very boring to a mind who's active to say we're going to be resting for eternity. So if you could just maybe touch upon that. If you can't go too deep, that's fine, but if you could just touch upon it.
So I'm going to just quickly give you two references. One, A Bani Adam, follow me in the true sense, I will make you like me. That's the incentive. Number two, Surah 36, Surah Yasin, ayat number 68. Those are the answer to your questions. Very short answer. Yes, there can be an entire class on this subject.
Right.
Truly, yes. Great
That's what I was
question.
wondering with the
Yes.
afterlife, if there's any sort of, do you participate? Is it literal? Do you participate with the Imam in that sense?
Yes. A Bani Adam, you follow me, I will make you like me. Yes, that is the answer.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Faiza. Yali Madad Aziz Bhai, thank you for sharing your wisdom and knowledge. It is great to learn a lot of things about who we are, what our souls are here for, and where we are going. My question is a little weird because of some experience. But my question first, before I tell you anything else, once the soul leaves, and as you said, that there are steps before they can reach the actual salvation, right? Do those souls connect with the word for any reason during their journey to salvation?
Connect with the word meaning Isme Azam?
World, dunya.
Oh, the world.
With people.
Oh, the world.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give you, that's a really great question. Are you done with your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. Great question. So the souls that leave this world, and regardless of which stage they are, can they connect back with this world? I'm going to give you a really good worldly physical example for you to understand. Okay? So let's say that you are, I think you are in Northern America somewhere, and you are going to Pakistan, Africa, India. Can you connect back to your folks back in Canada? You can say yes or no. Yes, if I have a phone, and yes, if I have a connection available to me. No, I don't have a phone. Even if I have a phone, I don't have a connection back for me to connect to folks back home. Okay, that is the example. So those great souls who are elevated soul and who have received some sort of freedom, meaning they are 3 and above. And I keep giving you this example because that's the easiest example for us to visualize and understand. If they are 3 and above, then yes, they can connect back with us. Now I'm going to add a question to your question. Why would they want to connect back to us? Why? What is their reason to connect back to us? We have a reason because we are praying for them and we miss them, so we are constantly connecting with them, constantly thinking of them, constantly praying for them and all of that. But what reason would they have? Now they are in the ocean of the souls. What reason would they have to connect back to us? That would be the great question to ask. Some of the highly elevated soul, and I'll just give the example of our peers, our imams, our prophets, our anbiya, awliya, arifins, because they have elevated their soul to the one single soul of the imam, and because they love us so much, they connect back to us knowingly or unknowingly. Knowingly or unknowingly, they connect back to us. So they may elevate our soul. Not just to say, Yali Madad, because you are my brother, you are my sister. No, don't take it physically. If they connect back to us, and there is a name for this kind of soul, it's called walk in soul. Walk in soul. उर्दू में सयाह रूह हैं, traveling souls, and they do come back to this earth, into the humans, to guide us toward the elevation. They do not come back without the purpose. I believe this is more than what you had asked, and I believe this is your complete answer.
So, why I asked you the question is what I want to know more is my ex-husband that passed away came back to a person who was able to hear them and gave a message in 2 sentences. I was in an accident and I was saved miraculously, and what he said was that he saved my life from dying in the accident, and the second he said was, I need to do more good for the world to go to the next level. We did not understand what he meant, and since then I am so eager to find the answer to why he came, why this message. Any light that you can shed on that?
This is very, very personal. I don't know if you wanted to talk on this line. It is really personal. Now, having said that, if you want a quick answer, I think I have already answered that. If there is an elevated soul, then they could come back to help you elevate your soul. Because you said there was a third person involved in the messaging, then I have different opinion of that. So if you want to talk about it, call me personally and we will talk among ourselves. Ji. Yali Madad.
So I had a question for you regarding our tariq, like our Muslim brothers and sisters in Islam. We believe that once we die, our souls go return to, of course, to Allah, and they are in the Alame Barzakh, where the souls are waiting, and the day of judgment, they'll be woken up, stuff like that. So my question is, so with us Shia Imam Ismaili Muslims, and we believe in Fana Fillah. So those souls who are like going to be Fana Fillah, do they also have to go to Alame Barzakh and stay there till the day of judgment, or they would be like in Fana Fillah right away?
Okay. Great question, but lack of understanding the ill concept. May I request everyone who believes in Imam in the true sense, why are we listening to someone who is not Ismaili? You think they would know anything about Ruhaniyat if they don't have the Imam's guidance, Imam's Noor, Imam's Isme Azam, Baitul Khayal Ibadat. Having said that, I'm sure wherever you are listening this, હું ગુજરાતીમાં યા ઉર્દુમાં કહું છું, 1% બી knowledge નથી એના આગળ. They don't have a knowledge of a one single cent. Because what you're talking about is the spiritual world. And how would they know of the spiritual world? Do they have Imam who told them? Do they have Isme Azam with which they have progressed their soul to go on other side to see where all the souls are waiting? Think about this for a second. Think about it. Okay? I know there is so much I can say, but I'm truly afraid that if I start talking too much, I may reveal the secrets of the Imam, which is a big no, no, no. We should not do that. So, in short, stay in the knowledge of the Imam, stay within the true knowledge of the Imam, and stay within the concept of the Ismaili Tariqa, because outside there is lot of ill concept and unknown knowledge, because they do not have the true knowledge and understanding of Rohaniyat, of the Batin. I hope you understood my hint and understood the answer.
याली मदद
याली मदद
वाली मदद। हाँ, बस मैं ये बोल रही थी कि अपन बहुत नसीब वाले हैं कि जो बेसिक आपने बोला था कि being a Ismaili, एक रसूल और दूसरा 3 दर की दुआ और चांद रात की मजलिस। तो एक आशा जी का पाठ है जिसमें गतना कैया डर जी माने तेने मादन मान नहीं पूछाए। तो हर मजलिस के अंदर तो मुखी कामड़िया इतने जो मौला की जगह पे हैं वो सब दुआएं मांगते हैं सब कुछ। तो अपन का ये भी सोल का एक प्रमोशन का तरीका है कि अपन सोल, तो इसके बारे में थोड़ा सा।
Yes, I'll give you a very simple example, okay? This happened at the time of Imam Hassan Ali Shah and Imam Ali Shah Mabab. You know, the Hassan Ali Shah was the oldest Imam in our history, and Ali Shah Mabab, he was the oldest Imam, became Imam in our history, and he only did the Imamat of 4 years when he became, because he was already too old. And then Sultan Muhammad Sheikh came at a very young age. Okay, so at one time Mabab was sitting in the Darbar, and Hassan Ali Shah Mabab was sitting, Ali Shah Mabab was on the mic, and he asked the Jamaat that my father, your Imam, is asking, is there a single murid over here who can claim that he is sinless, कि जिसके पास कोई गुनाह नहीं है? Of course, no one, not a single person raised their hand, but one old, garib, very poor farmer sitting in the back rose his hand. Everybody started to laugh. क्या कि ये बुढ़ा जो है ना सठी आ गया है, he has gone senile. So Imam calls him, he said, come over here. So he goes close to the Imam Ali Shah. At that time he was a peer. He says, my father is asking, you have never done a sin? And the old man goes, Mullah, I have sinned so much I cannot even count. Then Imam says, why would you say that you have no sin? He said, but my Imam has said, if you see me, all your sin will be forgiven. Because I believe in my Imam, because my Imam have said, if you see me, all your sin will be forgiven. Because I believe in my Imam, I am saying right now I'm sinful because I'm looking at my Imam.
Yes.
So now you understand your answer.
Yes, okay. Yes, thank you.
I just wanted to say this ayat in the Quran, which speaks to, number one, I don't know if the word is karma, but it speaks to how our souls are treated. Number two, it speaks to the merciness of Mola Bapa, of Allah. So this is Quran ayat 2286, and I like to recite this regularly. So it's like this. In the name of Allah, most beneficent, most merciful, on no soul doth Allah place a burden greater than it can bear. It gains every good that it earns. It gains every ill that it earns. Pray, our Lord, condemn us not if we forget or fall into error. Our Lord, lay not on us a burden greater than we have the strength to bear. Blot out our sins, grant us forgiveness, have mercy upon us. You are a protector. Protect us from those who stand against faith. Amen. So I would appreciate your comments on what I have just said. Please.
Ji. So number one comment, thank you so much for saying what you said about our beloved Imam. Our Imams are pure and remains pure throughout their life. And I made that comment because someone in, I'm not talking about the lady on this line, okay? I'm not talking about her. Some lecturer, I'm not going to even call them all-wise, because of the lack of knowledge and ill concepts, they come and they destroy our concepts by saying, if you see somebody dying or sick throughout their life because it's karma and they are sinful, and if somebody is dying or living good life in this world and dying very peacefully, they are good soul. That is not true. That is not true. That was the comment, and I thank you for making that comment about Sultan Muhammad Shah. Your second, Surah Baqarah, ayat number 286. It's a great ayat. And what I like about that ayat personally, because we should always ask Imam not to burden us with more than we can bear on our shoulder. So there's a great, great way to remember and pray. Keep doing what you're doing, brother. You're doing good.
Okay, Ali Madad.
Ya Ali Madad.
मुझे आपसे वो एक क्वेश्चन अभी तक वो एक तो ये क्वेश्चन है कि क्या हमारे इमामों की जो फैमिली वाले हैं, उनके बच्चे, उनके भाई बहन, वो भी अहले बैत में शामिल होते हैं?
Yes.
और दूसरा क्वेश्चन यही मेरा था अभी तक कि ना हम लोग समझो हमारी शादी होती है तो या हमारे भाई बहन है तो सब मतलब हमने अभी तक यही सुना है अबू अली की वाइजों में भी यही है कि वो हमारे मतलब पिछले जन्म जो हमारे जो कर्म रह जाते हैं वो हम चुकाने आते हैं. इवन के मतलब बहुत सारे लोगों ऐसे हैं जो अपने आप को नहीं मतलब जिनसे मैंने सुना है कि वो बहुत वो है आगे हैं, वो भी बोलते हैं कि हाँ इनसे हमारा कर्म था, और किसी की शादी वगैरह टूट जाती है तो बोलते हैं उसका उतना ही कर्म था उसके साथ पिछले जन्म का, मतलब जो होगा कर्म निभाने आ गए हमारे.
How about we say कि जो मौला की मर्जी.
Can you just repeat it in English for everybody?
Yeah. How about we say whatever Imam wills, instead of saying whatever our karma was? Shouldn't we not relate all the things to the Imam? Instead of saying that because of my previous life, again reincarnation, I don't know when will we become Ismaili. When, how long would it take for us to become Ismaili? We are not Hindus, we are Ismaili, number one. Number two, how about we say that I'm marrying to this person, divorce, or whatever you wanted to say. Whatever happens to you in your life, good or bad, how about we say it is due to Imam's mercy and Imam's will. Because Imam wanted it, so I got it. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Didn't we not listen to the Farman just 30 minutes ago? Mullah Ali said that do whatever you want with me, but do good to me. How about we say that to Mullah Bapa? That if I am in trouble, sick, in pain, in bad relationship, or whatever you wanted to say, no money, no children, good children, bad children, whatever. If we can say that thank you Mullah Baba, everything is due to you, I think you will receive a great reward for attributing to the Imam's will instead of your own deeds.
और दूसरा क्वेश्चन था कि इमाम की फैमिली वाले अहले बैत काउंट होते हैं, उनको भी हम अहले बैत में बोल सकते हैं?
बिल्कुल, नूरानी फैमिली, यस डेफिनेटली 100%.
तो वो भी ऐसे तो मतलब जब शुरू में जब अल्लाह ने दुनिया बनाई तो 5 तारे बनाए, पंचतन का नूर बनाया, तो उनकी फैमिली की वो कैसे जो स्पेशल रूहानियां जो उनकी प्रोग्रेस कर जाती हैं वो उनकी फैमिली में जन्म लेती हैं? लाइक पीर सदरुद्दीन, हजरत ईसा, मौलाना रूमी, क्या ऐसी रूहानियां बन के इमाम की फैमिली में आती हैं?
That's a great question. Wow. Thank you. Thank you for asking. This is a great question. I don't remember last time someone asked such a great question. Who can be born in Imam's family? That is her question. Alright? I just answered that in very, very short to Khiyal. And if you want to look up in Quran, your answer is in Quran. Surah 36, ayat number 68 has answer to your question. Those Surah Yasin number 36, ayat number 68 has answer to your question. And I'm going to just paraphrase it. You can go and read. Those who has given the Buzrugi higher ranks are returned back to this world again and again. And then the last punchline. Do you not understand? Read 3668 has your answer.
Okay, thank you.
Great question.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yali Madad.
My other question was for you about soul bond. So, like, say for example, like parents and children, is it true that we make soul bonds, for example, before coming to earth? And Maulana Baba, with his blessing, of course, we are granted that soul, is granted whatever they want to achieve together as a family or whatever before we come here. So what I'm saying is that parents, the children are choosing the parents before they come on earth to whatever assignment they are assigned to fulfill that bond.
Okay, if you're talking about the bond between parents and the children, or are you talking about the bond between Imam and the soul?
No, I'm talking about the bond between parents and children. Like with Imam's blessing, they are granted this bond.
Okay.
To fulfill whatever the soul has achieved or wants to achieve, for example. So they are allowed to do that just because Imam allowed them to come together as one family, for example.
All right.
And that will be in the same way for a partner too. You choose this with Imam's blessing before you're born.
Okay. So I'm going to answer this in 2 or 3, maybe possible 3 different ways, okay? 1, each individual soul are responsible for themselves. No parents, no children, no brother, no sister are responsible for your soul. Okay? Number 1. Number 2, the bond is between the murshid and murid, the imam and the soul. Because our allegiance is not to the parents. Our allegiance is to the imam of the time. Okay? So whatever we do, if we do good with our family, if we do good to our parents, or parents does good to their children, or to brother and sister, within the extended family, even to husband and wife, even the colleagues within the Jamaat. Okay? Those are counted as your good deeds, and you're supposed to do that, and it is called the amanate ele khuda, meaning the promise toward the children or the souls of the Allah that are amongst us. That could be family, it could be your brother and sister, or the Jamaat. We all owe to each other a good deeds. We owe to each other, and that is in our dua part number 5, where we say, do not betray the trust of Allah, do not betray the trust of Prophet, and do not betray the trust amongst each other. Okay? So we're supposed to do that as a good human, as within the ethic of Islam. Alright? And that was the promise we made to Allah. that we will do good to Allah, to Prophet, and amongst ourselves. Okay. The third thing, remember that as the parents or as the children, if one is elevated out of the entire family, they could pray for and they could do a sifarish, a favor, a recommendation for each other. And what is the proof of that? As P. Sadruddin asked for recommendation, asked for the favor to elevate and take the Anant Crore souls with him. There was his good deeds, his recommendation for the Jamaat yet to come.
On the question that was asked to you about the souls that come into the family of Hazrima, but just going back to that, does that mean that the elevated souls that can even come into the families of the human souls? For example, let's say that I have a parent who is really, I know, very spiritually elevated. Many times we don't know, but is it possible for that soul to come back into the family to finish, according to my thoughts, what I did not get to learn from that soul?
Okay.
If it's an elevated soul, it would come back.
Okay, so there are two parts to this question. Can elevated soul come into other than Imam's family? Yes. 100% definitely.
Thank you.
Second part of your question was, do they come to help you? No. Remember, soul comes to do things in two different ways, and I believe I had explained that earlier. If an elevated soul wants to come back to help any human, family or no family, okay, if they have elevated soul, then they could come back as a traveling soul to help another human being. In our simple language, we call it, and again I'm going to say it in Urdu first and then in English, so forgive me, कि वो फरिश्ता है जो आकर हमको मदद करता है. Those are the elevated angels who comes to help us with our task. Okay? The second part of your question, or the second point 2A, was, can they come to help you in physical life? Meaning they are born again and all of that. Okay? So remember what we talk about, each soul has a responsibility to help each other. Elevated or no elevated, they all have a responsibility to help each other, as we are all from one single soul.
So I think you answered my question, because it was the first part and the second part that you said, and I meant it that way. I didn't mean to come and help an individual personally, but I meant it as an angel, and I think you answered my question. I just didn't explain properly.
I got your question. I got it.
That question has been haunting me for a very long time.
Yes.
And I'm glad that you cleared it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, I'll remember that, inshallah. Now, in terms of how Mullah is so merciful and what happens to us is based on his blessings, these are actually from, he ties things together very nicely, most of the two comments, because on Ali's talk, he talked about two Quranic ayats, 1653. Every single favor you have is from God. Okay, that's number one. Number two, 479. He said, whatever good comes from you is from God. Whatever evil comes from you is from your own soul. And that actually ties back to that other ayah, 2286, that I was talking about. So again, please, your comments, and Mola bless you and accept your seven. What an enlightening session. Maybe one of the most shukr lillah, alhamdulillah, shukr Mola. It's all good to him.
Shukr alhamdulillah. So, our soul, what do you mean by our soul? That would be the question I would ask. That whatever bad comes from us, because remember, we have a carnal soul and we have the, इसको पहले उर्दू में मैं बता देता हूँ माफ़ी के साथ, नफ्स लवामा, नफ्स अमारा फर्स्ट, नफ्स लवामा और नफ्स मुतमईना. Those are the three stages of our soul: the carnal soul, the conscience or the guiding soul, and the satisfied soul. So those are three levels of our soul. All the bad comes from the carnal soul, and all the hidayat comes from the lawama, the guiding soul, and all the satisfaction comes from the the mutmaina, the satisfied soul. Ji.
Okay, shukr Mola.
Shukran.
All right, everybody, thank you so much. This has been very, very enlightening.
Thank you so much for all the question, and thank you for everyone for praying for this Garib and Nachis and giving me this opportunity. Thank you, Zinat Appa, Faiza. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to give Aziz Bhai dua and of course all our participants. Ya Mola, we thank you for the opportunity to attend these sessions to gain knowledge and understanding of our faith. We ask you to bless us all so we can continue to learn and gain as much knowledge possible and put it all in practice. Ya Mola, we ask you to give us the understanding of our faith in the way you want us to understand. Ya Mola, keep us steadfast on the path of Sirat al-Mustaqim and bless us all with lots of barakat in Deen and Dunya. May Mola accept all your seva, guide you in imparting your knowledge to all, and bless you to do more seva.
Ameen.
Mola, forgive us our errors and our shortcomings. Ya Mola, accept everyone's ibadat and keep us steadfast in our rasool, sukri and ibadat and keep us strong on Sirat al-Mustaqim.
Ameen.
Ya, keep your hand always on our shoulders. Encompass and submerge us in your divine rahmah.
Ameen.
Ya Mola, bless us with your zahiri batni nurani.
Ameen. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Yali
you.
Madad. Yali
Mola
Madad.
Madad. So we'll see you tomorrow at the session, and then inshallah, if you can join us for the movie and popcorn, that would be great.
Okay. Who's sending me popcorn? Somebody gonna Amazon me, ship me some popcorn?
I will ship you some popcorn.
Thank you. Yali Madad.
Okay, thank you.
I don't
Yali
think there
Madad.
will be any Amitabh in this movie though, right?
If there is no Amitabh, you will not be there.
Uh-oh.